You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking
Yeah, just woke up.
about the cage, okay? The
I hear
zoo,
you.
the zoo, where
All
they
right.
put the animals in the habitats and they create the habitat for them, and it's supposed to be as close to their natural environment as they could do, you know. And they do put a good amount of effort in that.
Okay.
But you see, when you go to the zoo or wherever and you see the animal just kind of going in a circle, I went to, was it aquarium? I think it could have been SeaWorld. I don't know where I was at. It was like a restaurant or something. What the fuck was it? It wasn't a restaurant. It was a building I was in, and it was like a big ass aquarium. And they had like a sea lion, or it was a seal. I think it was a seal that was in there. And it's this pretty big tank, but you can see for this big ass seal, if you ever seen them up close, they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
And it was swimming. It was just swimming in a circle, right? And it would look at me as it went by. It would swim in a circle and look at me. I'm just looking at it, come back around, and it's just doing that the whole time because it doesn't have enough space, really. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And you go to the zoo and you see the monkey or the gorilla or whatever is the ape, and it's just
But
kind of going in a circle. You know, you see they do that to the horses,
I hear you, bro. But
and
I think you have a like some things like you don't see where the balance is for even for animals that might be caged because some of these animals probably have a longer life because they're not in the wild. Because like they probably would have got their ass ate the fuck up.
yeah, but what kind of a quality of life did they have?
Bro,
And
having
how
all right, quality of life or no life. Which one you pick?
I don't know life because going in a circle is not a life. You mentally screwed. Like really, they're really mentally screwed. I can't say it any nicer way. Like they are the mind fucked. You know, that is not the way God intended. That is not right. That's the reason why they go through this depression. They're depressed and they're not in a healthy mind state because they're in this habitat, which is basically a prison.
Okay. I mean, look, I'll roll with you on that because I mean, I just you know,
And
I feel like if I saw you this week somewhere, you might sneak the fuck out of me because you know what I'm saying.
I wouldn't do that. You know that. Freaking
I gotta watch my back. You know what I'm saying.
no, it's the
I'm
topic.
just kidding.
I
I
really
know.
care about it. And
I hear you. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
it's one of those
What you
topics that
said
has
about
driven me since I was a kid
what
because
you said about them animals again? You were I was like, no, I'm just kidding. You know, I'm just messing around.
I do feel, but you know, I'm not no freaking the movie. One of my favorite movies is oh man, 28 Days Later, and how it starts off is these animal lover types. You know, they break into a science lab and they're like, oh, you got these apes locked up, these got these monkeys or whatever locked up, and they let them free, and they freaking start the like worst plague ever. It's zombie plague. They release a disease, you know.
Yeah.
So so I'm not that guy. I'm absolutely not that guy.
Thank
Uh, trying
God.
to trying to go in there and freaking because I'm aware of the situations, and a lot of those they're already too far gone. You know, I don't think any of them should be in cages. But as far as being able to release them, you may not be able to do that either. Now, there are some special circumstances where I agree with it, and it's when the species is almost gone, like the species is extinct, and they're trying to breed them and reintroduce them into the wild to save their species. That's just the only that's pretty much the only scenario I can roll with, you know. But what I'm comparing this, the reason why I brought that up is because we're talking about suicide in black men specifically. So the cage. the going in a circle, the depression, you know, the mental health as a result of a habitat, an artificial habitat that has been, you know, created for you
Mhm.
to live in. And you are subscribed or ascribed duties, all of this laid out for you already. You don't get to make any choices in it, you know? That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I
And
mean, I understand. I mean, I don't think they ever had a choice. I mean, God, a lot, put them in certain areas, and I mean, There's a lot of different circumstances under which they end up where they end up. But I mean,
let me read
how
some
did
more.
how they get caught? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they got caught by a human, they most likely would have got caught by another animal that would have fucked them up for real.
Yeah,
But
well, that's okay. And that would, because that's the circle of life, you know? And to die in the wild is to be free, is to live the way you were intended to, you know? Hopefully you got to make some little ones before you left so your genes can go on. We're not meant to be here forever. We're not meant to live, you know,
I hear
forever.
you.
At some point, our life is going to come to an end, and that's the circle of life. That's the natural way of things. That's how life actually lives forever, because it keeps regenerating itself. It's a process. I really
Well,
understand it. And so freaking that's what we need to allow to happen. Allow the system to do what it does, you know uh that's what I'm talking about related to that. And then that's also related to us as humans in the way we live. Look,
let me ask this because I mean, because I know you have issue with some of these barriers that even in the wild that some of these animals have to deal with because of you know people having their own property, humans having property, and a lot of the natural what's supposed to be natural places for them to live, whether it's the jungle, the forest, or wherever they are, but they have to encounter fencing, some kind of a fence or barrier. Like, I mean, is animals supposed to have more rights than people?
all of us, we're all equal. We're all God's creations. One is no greater than the other.
Okay.
So that's what we have to really realize.
Well,
and
we're
and
different
and
because we're smart enough to be able to make our own, or at least we're capable of creating our own. Because I mean, that's the thing. Like bears and all these things that can do us harm. I'm supposed to leave a fresh, open range for them to be able to get my children when they playing in the yard.
no, you always protect your own. The bears do
But
that, the
but
animals do that,
but that's what
everyone
I'm talking about
do
with
that.
but that's what I'm talking about with the fences and stuff like that. Like,
Well, how did the Aboriginal peoples of America, the Americas, deal with this? How did the Aboriginal peoples of Australia deal with this? You know, that's what we want to look at.
well, I guess I mean they would kill them or get killed by them. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying like
They
I,
had
I,
systems for all of this stuff, but they didn't have this. They allowed they worked with nature
you don't
instead
think
of
that
against it.
you don't think that they had zoos?
No, absolutely not. No, there's no evidence of that. No. Let me read some comments. It says, "Be kind to everyone. Reach out to your loved ones. You never know who is suffering in silence." Another comment, it says, "You never know what's going on in people's heads. Be at peace." Another comment, it says, "Can we only dedicate a minute to salute how many times a dedication she placed in this vids?" I don't know what that was. Another comment that says, "This is so tragic. I only remember him from the Ellen Show and TikToks as a sweet guy and awesome dancer with a beautiful smile. Twitch sudden death left a stain on my heart. Damn." Another comment that says, "Why such a gut-wrenching reminder that depression comes in all shapes and smiles?" Another comment, "It's very sad and heartbreaking. These people who commit suicide have no idea of the impact it makes upon their loved ones. It drives a stake through their heart, particularly when the person showed no signs of depression or sadness, dancing one day and gone the next. What are the real influences in that kind of scenario?" You know? And that's what we need to think about. And this person made a good comment. They said that these people who commit suicide have no idea the impact it makes upon their loved ones. Maybe they do, and they make a calculated decision. I don't know,
Well,
but I agree with them. I believe it's really selfish. I think it's super selfish to do this because no matter who you are, somebody is going to be really, really hurt
yeah,
behind you taking yourself out.